You didn't turn up the other night. You should have been here the other night, Arsenal. I didn't see you, Tom. Where you been? Emma was here. Tell him.
Actually,
Yeah.
I wasn't there on Friday.
Was she not?
No.
Oh, okay then. I nearly swore then. Who's first?
Yeah, anyone who'd like to start us off? Go on then, kick us off.
Yeah, Mark, I'll start with the first half first.
Yeah.
Did that feel like a bit of a kind of a reality check in a way?
Correct. Very much so. In all honesty, from the start of their season against Lyon, for example, who play a 4-3-3, they played a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-3. So we were adapting and evolving, being ready to do both systems or defend against both systems. Because look, we have to pay respect. We're new to this situation, so we need to pay respect. But then second half, once we knew exactly how they were going to play and what they were going to do, we unleashed the players that needed to do the business that they did. And it was literally the cliche game of two halves, in my opinion. They were counter-attacking second half. They're very physical. I think what the reality is that the first half was that's the fastest we've played against, the highest intensity. Even Arsenal the other day, it was much more intense than that. I think it just took our players to see it, feel it, and then at half-time they fixed it. I'm so proud of the resilience first half because they stayed in the game. Some really good individual defending, emergency defending. And then second half, I felt that we had them on the ropes and that we could have took the game.
And what about the mental resilience, which you mentioned there, particularly in the second half, to then come from behind and then get the equaliser next out at the end? It's almost disappointment that you actually didn't go on to win it.
Yeah, look, I think it's a huge shift in 45 minutes, right? So we knew we had to defend. In these games, you're playing against a top opposition, so we're going to have to defend as effectively as we attack. It did feel like that. It felt like we could have won the game, but if you're going to be in these competitions and you're going to try to get through to the latter stages, in terms of the group stages for us, that is, then we're going to have to defend as effectively, especially in Parc des Princes, as well as we did here. So in the end, it felt probably a fair and a draw. I think they would have felt the first half they should have scored a couple. But second half, I felt that we could have done the same. Thanks, mate.
At the back.
Mr. Skinner, you just said you wanted to unleash your team in the second half. Is it too church to say you were playing a rope-a-dope?
A rope-a-dope. No, probably not. I was, we were planning always game management in terms of, we know we've got super attacking players, but also so have they. And so if you leave yourself too open, the game and tie could disappear. Second half, maybe, and especially second leg, maybe, because it's winner takes all, right? So we've left it in a precarious position for both them and for us. But what I think we'll do tonight is learn from our second half as well as our first half. And I think you're going to have to mix both styles, from first half resilience to second half attacking, to go and win the game. So maybe not as way you've put it beautifully, but maybe not. But we had to attack second half. We're at home. We had to go out and try and find a way.
Key part of that attack was the introduction of Jason. How is she finding things?
She's finding it. I mean, she's enjoying herself. I think. Look, she took a knock. She took a dead leg against Arsenal the other day. So the first half we were a little bit like, you probably got 45 minutes. She did a fitness test before the game. And so it wasn't right to play her for the 90. So we brought her in to make that impact. And we said to her, look, hold the ball. But then you tell JC to hold the ball and all of a sudden she's nutmegging someone, taking it past the next. But that's what we need. That's the level. All of a sudden you play that to her and our team go, and they breathe. And all of a sudden it's just, that's why we bought her for. It's the quality. Mal coming on, injects quality into a game. Hinny, I thought, Hinny's going to be such a player. And it's just getting them. We're learning on the job. And what I mean by that is we've got new players that have come in late. We're new experience in Champions League. And yet the girls are putting in performances like that second half. I'm so proud of them. But she gives you a different level, JC. Different level player.
Who's next? Anton? Go on.
I was just wanted to ask Mark, how confident are you for the next leg? Can you do it?
Look, I believe we can do it anywhere, Tom. So I'm going to believe that we can do it in Paris. That's not false. If I don't go in with that attitude, like we've done tonight, I said to the girls tonight, we belong at this level. I have no doubt about that. Consistency, we're going to need experience. We're going to need to gain experience. So we've got to work hard to get into the group stages. But from the second half shows that to the players. And I said, just believe in yourselves. Like, you are a team at this level. And you know what we are? We're a club historic in the Men's Champions League. And we ain't had time to be historic in the Women's Champions League yet. So we've got to earn it now. But from my perspective, we have great shoulders to stand on from our men's team. And that, from my experience, breeds into all of our club, not just our women's team or our men's team. We're one. And that's what we've got to take into the second leg, is that belief that we're Manchester United and we can beat anybody. And we've got to go there and we've got to try and match a game plan. They're going to obviously be even pumped more than they were in the first half. But I felt that there were ways we could really exploit them, and we'll learn from those and try and find a game plan to go into the second half. Hi, mate.
Hey, mate, guys. Talked about, obviously, first half tactics. How much did you go in at half time to Mary Earps? What did you say to her?
Yeah, I think, look, we'll always owe to Mary, right? Because she's a goalkeeper that is world class and she'll make saves, but also that's her job and she does it very, very well. So I think we'll always look to that, but I also look to her from that. Me personally, I look to her to do that because she's this level goalkeeper. So I suppose she gets not as much credit as maybe she deserves for that, because we expect it because she's that level. But yeah, of course we do. But we owe it to the defenders as well, and we owe it to the defenders from the front. Like, for Jade Riviere, obviously Karshawi down the left-hand side is very, very dominant, attacking forward. I thought second half we pushed her right back. But yeah, look, second leg we're going to need the same, Anton. We're going to need her to come up big, because that's the game. This is top-level football. PSG will have chances in the second leg, and so will we. And that's going to be the difference between who takes the game and who progresses.
Talk about Champions League being a new experience for Manchester United, but you are a squad stacked with experience now.
Yeah.
Champions League experience, World Cup experience.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a shock if you go to Paris and win, is it?
No chance. No, not for us. Not for us. For others, it may be, but... And I want to clarify that. We go into any game thinking we can win. I've always said that. I say that in the league here, and we're going to go to Paris and believe we can win. Because if you don't, there is no point jumping on the plane. But what we will do is we'll go out and give everything. We've got to be as physical as we were tonight. They're very good. Physically, they're very, very good. Fast, direct. And we've got to match that and then play our football. And if we can do that, I believe we'll have a very good chance to progress. Thank you, mate. Hello, mate.
Mark, it's sort of weird where you've been under pressure a lot in that first half, and then at the start of the second half you actually were sort of on top a little bit, and then the goal from PSG came. There was a danger there that PSG could have gone on and scored 2 and 3, and the time
Yeah.
could have been over tonight. So how proud are you of your players actually resilience to come back despite having gone kind of been under control?
Do you know what I think it is? I think, having experienced it tonight, there's a fine line where you can feel like you've got the game and it's in control, and then all of a sudden it can be taken away. And what I mean by that is because of the quality of the players that we're playing against, they can score at any point. And that's what you've got to be super focused. You know, we let a couple of chances in. They got down our left-hand side in the first half. And really, we just got to defend that counter a little bit better. You see the goal, it's a great run off the shoulder, but we've got to watch that. We have rules in our defence about who we cover and how we cover. And we've let ourselves down in that one. But also the speed of the player that's going in behind, Chawinga's just gone. So, and once she's gone, you're never getting it back. So even as good as Mary is, she can't stop everything. So we've got to be really focused second half, because they'll do the same. And I mean second half by the second leg. We've got to do the same. But even when we're attacking, you have to defend against PSG, because they have that good a counter. They have to be ready. I want us to match them physically second leg. If we do that, we'll put ourselves in a dominant position to push them backwards. And once you do that and don't fear them, I felt there was a little bit of trepidation maybe first half, but then second half we're like, no, we belong, we believe. And so we came in second half of this leg, and I want to see that progress into the next leg. Thank you, mate.
Yep.
Hi, Mark.
Hello, Mum. Which way do you want to go?
Obviously, we talk about the physicality of PSG, the actual speed of the game, as you say, it was quite a step up from even Arsenal. We were one of the top teams with WSL.
Yeah.
I wonder how much you can take that into the domestic season. Obviously, you've got the second leg to come, but domestically, to have a new element to your team, to have been exposed to that.
Absolutely. We've got not only video evidence but actual experience from the players. That was the most like an NWSL game I've experienced. That was an NWSL opponent. Having been there, I always talked about the transition, how physical it was, how there wasn't really a love for the build-up of the ball. It was much more about, can we hurt you now? And I think from my perspective, if you can control that threat and and you've got to put your body on the line for that, then I feel that we can exploit them through their gaps. I feel that we can push them back. I feel that we can move them around the pitch. I feel that if we match their physicality, I think that we're a better footballing team. And that's what I want to see in the second half of this leg, of this tie, is that we go there and we don't play with fear. Look, they're going to have an intimidating, and it's going to be something we never experienced before, intimidating fan base and so on. But we have to match that physicality, stop it being an NWSL, and control where they go and what spaces they have. If we can do that, then we'll have a really good chance of progressing. Thank you, mate. Let's start here and went back.
So Melvin Malaj came on and made an impact again. Obviously, you must be happy with how she settled, and also she must be relishing going back to France next week with the Lyon connections and maybe knocking PSG out.
She'd love to, I'm sure. But from my perspective, look, again, another Mal's been fantastic. Her personality she's vibrant, and she's somebody that injects that into everybody that she talks to in our training ground. And you'll see a lot more of Mal throughout the season, of course. We're just growing her into this role. It's new to her, and, we picked her up with a small kind of like injury that we've had to manage. But she's wonderful at the minute coming in, but when she gets her starts as well, she's going to show the quality she has. I'm pretty sure, having been at Lyon for so long, that she'd want to make sure we go back to Paris and win the game. So she'll play a big part of that, I'm no doubt.
Question?
Just a word on this year, because recently we spoke about how many players the competition was maturity of your performance.
I felt that both, and look, I felt first half we were a little bit passive in some of the decisions we made, but quite right. Look, I understand it. That's not a judgment. That's just an explanation of what happened. But they grew tonight, and like we just spoke about that when we play Arsenal, that probably prepared us as best we could in this league for playing PSG today. So I'm glad that we're learning on the job. I'm glad that we fixed our first half and made it a better second half. But Maya has that quality, right? And she's going to learn from the goal that's gone behind her and the ball that's gone behind her, that when you're playing top level opposition, they only need to see forwards and they can find your gaps. So it's about being in the right positions. But yeah, look, she's a super talented player and someone that I think should sooner or later cement places within England's squads coming forwards as well. Thank you. Hello, my friend. Not as relaxed as you, but I like it. Go on, man. You're taking ages to get your question out. You could go home. I'm only joking. Oh, sorry, mate.
You talk about big players, big moments, and how last season maybe you felt like that was something that you might lack.
Yeah.
And how the players that you brought in were brought in for that purpose.
Yeah.
I don't need to point out the moments where those players have had big moments, but another one tonight. How much are you seeing the evidence of that so early?
Do you know what? Hugely. A little special meant I thought Tooney was excellent tonight. I felt that it was a level that she turned up and went, look, I want to play at this level. This is the level I want to. And I felt that she found the spaces they left wonderfully well, especially second half. What I felt when I saw them in the second half was there were senior people, senior women, senior players leading what they were seeing. The game is too quick for us to have one plan. There's positions interchange too quickly, the way the game's getting so quick. So if their midfielder's out, can we exploit that space? If Grace Gilroy pulls one side, can we switch to the other side? It's all these different factors that our players are fixing now on their own. What I love is there's a lovely blend of JC's flair and flamboyancy to Mal's understanding when to come in, Hinny's calmness and collected, Tooney's energy, Zal's calmness, and all of that adds up to these quality moments. And that's what I'm trying to build. I'm trying to build a set of players that have tools to unlock any situation. But what they're doing more importantly, I think this comes with experience and age and belief, is that they're starting to find solutions for themselves on field when they can't hear coach. And I felt tonight especially when to build with one, when to build with two, when to build with three, when to pull them out, when to go direct. These are all micro decisions you have to make in the game, and our players are getting more experience of doing that. And that's what I mean when I talk about decision makers. You win games on decisions. You win games on people taking the ball and making a decision. And I feel that our players are getting way better at doing that, and we're learning on the job.
Anyone else?
She's thinking.
Bed bug spray for next Wednesday.
Well, and we might have to, right? No, we'll go prepared. And do you know what? She's laughing. She loved that one, mate. Emma loved that one. Okay. Do I need to?
I was only joking.
Okay.
I love that you were actually answering the question.
I mean, I actually didn't know what you're on about, but I went with it. So, is that what your experience is?
You need to Google it. It's been in the news.
Oh, has it?
Yeah.
Oh, has that? So I haven't seen that.
Yeah. So genuinely.
Oh, genuinely, we might have to then, right? I mean, I'm not gonna put every establishment in the same. I don't know where we're staying yet, so I'll check for you and I'll get you a report next week. Let's see.
Is there a question? No question about.
This is still essentially a qualifier to get into the group
Correct.
stages. Any thoughts about a possible expansion of the tournament?
If this isn't as good as a quarter-final is in the actual tournament, I don't know what you're going to get. I'm seeing teams that are going to play tomorrow, no disrespect, that we would beat. And they're playing to get into the Champions League proper. And that for me, is strange. It's strange. Now, I've heard other coaches, like I watch Man City, and this is my feeling on them from last season when they played Real Madrid. That's a super game to go into a qualifier. So, like, for me, it needs to be looked at because there needs to be better teams getting into the competition proper. Because tonight, as I say, PSG have been in 2 finals, and yet we're playing them in a qualifying game. That for me is we're having to learn quick, right? So yeah, I would expect absolutely the teams are ready to expand. There are teams now ready to expand. We have 4 or 5 in this country that could play in Champions League. And so that for me, yeah, it's something I would definitely, it's ready. I think it's ready to expand now.
Anyone else?
Anything else?
White trainers next week.
White trainers.
You know, you didn't go with them.
I've gone all black, right?
Yeah.
I've gone all black. We'll see. I'm trying to keep you guessing, mate. Trying to keep you guessing. I'm trying to keep me slim. You got anything, Soph, before we go?
I was just thinking about the bedbugs. No, yeah. The billowing yellow jumper you wore for Pride game.
NWSL, that was Houston away. Yeah.
It's still in my memory.
Okay.
Emma Hayes likes to refer to this point in Champions League ties as half-time.
Yeah.
When you're going into it, does it feel like it's 2 separate games or one? Like, is it 4 halves? How do you?
I think it's a little bit of both because you're going to have to use the experience of this game because we watched the Saint Etienne game and it didn't tell us anything really. It told us a little bit of their shape and potential, who didn't play and who did play. But I think the experience is going to be different when we go to Parc des Princes because it's meant to be quite a hostile environment, which is a good thing, right? I've not been, so the word ultras might come into it. So, and look, we're looking forward to that. That's part and parcel of growing up. You're watching our players grow up in front of your eyes, which is wonderful for our fans because they're our inception of our club, right? Most women's football teams now, fans have been there at the inception. So I think it'll be a little bit of both. I think there's learning from the first game, but I do think it'll be a different set of circumstances and we've got to be ready to adapt. Thank you, mate.
Great, we'll hold it there. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all. Go and get yourself home. Thank you. Go safe.